Wrestling Report Feedback Friday, hashtag Feedback Friday here on the 4th of July. And as you know, David Hero is suspended from Feedback Friday, so I am pleased to welcome my co-host, my new co-host for Feedback Friday, the man they call Meathead. Hey! Meathead, how are you, sir, here on the Independence Day?
Well, in honor of the World Cup also going on this entire week, I've named myself a Brazilian.
That's absolutely repulsive.
Welcome back.
Let's get to the comments, folks, and this show is all about everything that you have had to say over the course of the last week with our broadcasts and our episodes. And before we get to that, what a weekend it's going to be here from the Pro Wrestling Report. Tomorrow night on primetime, Saturday night on My 24 Milwaukee, our guest in a video interview will be none other than Stone Cold Steve Austin. So be sure to tell your friends and tune in tomorrow night to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! And it doesn't even end there, Meathead, because we have two other guests, unannounced guests, who will be joining us for primetime tomorrow night on My 24 Milwaukee. You got to tune in to find out who's going to join us to talk WWE and TNA in addition to Stone Cold Steve Austin. But as you well know, PWR is the most watched wrestling talk show on YouTube with well over 13 million views since 2006, and we welcome each and every one of your comments on our videos. So let's get to some of those comments left on last week's episode of Primetime TV. First comes from a YouTube user by the name of Doobie77Trill, who says the following in regards to last Sunday's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And I quote, "I was really hoping, like a lot of fans, that Dolph Ziggler was going to win the Money in the Bank. His story and climb to the top is just as interesting as Daniel Bryan. The backstage beef or politics are apparent and they are diminishing his stock. Maybe he should go to Japan and get a new experience because there is no wrestling company in America that can compete with WWE, and I don't feel he would fit or they would be able to tap into his star power." Dolph Ziggler, of course, endorsed, member of the Nelson family, had a great showing this past Sunday and a big win on Monday's Raw. It's the recognized symbol of excellence in professional wrestling.
Fantastic. Dolph Ziggler was not going to win the Money in the Bank. As much and as great as it would be to see Dolph Ziggler, you got to understand, and this is a phrase that we've used over and over here, Dolph Ziggler on the poster is not selling tickets. I apologize, as endorsed as he is for you.
No, you're wrong, so thank you for the apology.
I apologize to hurt your feelings, but I am right. Regardless of the delivery, the truth never changes. Dolph Ziggler is not going to sell the tickets, the pay-per-views, and anything else that goes along with it.
But Dolph Ziggler is a Money in the Bank winner.
Yes.
He won it. He cashed in. He became the World Heavyweight Champion. And as the YouTube user said, the similarities to Daniel Bryan are pretty clear because much like Daniel Bryan, just after that win of the championship, Dolph Ziggler suffered an injury that took him out of action for months, and then he subsequently lost the title to Alberto Del Rio, the man who he cashed in on to take it from.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because, you know, B-plus players are really needed in a company, but unfortunately A-plus players are the ones that sell the posters and tickets.
Dolph Ziggler's an A-plus for sure.
I love Dolph Ziggler.
Doesn't sound like it.
But again,
must be that chair where hate just exudes.
There's nothing flowing up inside of me. No hate, it's coming out. Folks, as much as I love Dolph Ziggler, the world needs the Junkyard Dogs and all these other type of wrestlers that just are there to enhance the money makers.
Well, let's continue on and get to more of your comments here on YouTube. And YouTube user DubstackG says, and I quote, "I am yet to agree with any of the greatest ever finalists that Damian and David have settled upon from week to week. And I can't justifiably put Rock and Austin at the top of the list as being the biggest baby faces of all time because they were both actually face-leaning tweeners. Sting, Steamboat, Hogan, and Cena would have to be the top four, true with the Von Erichs and Dusty Rhodes also in the conversation."
I didn't get to voice my opinion on that one, but I'm going to give it to you real clean and real simple. It was Hulk Hogan. He was the number one face. Again, John Cena has so many people that I guess don't particularly like him. Austin was a bad guy that became a good guy doing bad guy stuff, just like your rant for the last 15 years I've known you about Bret Hart being a good guy doing bad guy stuff. Yes?
Faking, yeah.
Okay. Hulk Hogan, during the 80s, did good guy stuff as a good guy, and he was the best guy.
The greatest ever is simply a list of our opinions as to who is the greatest
Not
ever.
right,
And we
not wrong.
encourage
Sure.
your feedback as to who you think is or isn't the greatest ever. And we will be bringing you a brand new edition of the greatest ever next week. It's going to be the greatest tag team ever, which, quite frankly, that is by far our most difficult one to at least get the finalists from to date. So we're bringing in an expert, David Hero, to join us on that broadcast, the greatest ever. We've got more of your YouTube comments and much more to talk about from your comments over this past week. But be sure to follow us on Twitter at PWR Show on Twitter to follow along with all the conversation, including during broadcasts of Raw, Impact, SmackDown, and pay-per-view and special events. We'll be right back in just a moment with more of your comments.
Feedback Friday is brought to you by ProWrestlingTees.com, your destination for all the hottest wrestling t-shirts at low prices with super fast shipping. ProWrestlingTees.com also houses the full line of PWR merchandise in the PWR shop, along with the all-new line of Macho Man and Andre the Giant t-shirts. Each week, one lucky winner will win a free tee, so stay tuned to find out if you're this week's winner.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday. Damian Nelson sitting alongside Meathead, sitting in for the suspended David Hero. It's July 4th. You doing a big barbecue, or did you do a big barbecue today?
Well, I am cooking out. Macaroni cheese is very difficult on the grill, but I've perfected it.
With the powder and the milk and the box and the...
Yeah, that's the problem. That's
Cheese and
what I started
macaroni?
the fire with, was the blue box.
Let's get back to your YouTube comments, folks, and yeah, talked about some of them. We'll have to go back up to the YouTube comments there. We talked about some of them earlier in the episode, but I'm just distracted because tomorrow Steve Austin joins us here on this broadcast. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
WWE Hall of Famer.
What?
Former champion.
What?
The man who defined an era. Tomorrow night. So,
hey,
let's get back to your YouTube comments, and this one comes from a user by the name of @the words are here. He says, and I quote, Alberto Del Rio never really amounted to his expectations. He has been given the belt and opportunity, but still didn't capture anyone's interest.
It's funny that we get Alberto Del Rio when we got him in his career. We got him a little bit later. Obviously, he had, built up a name elsewhere outside of the WWE.
Down south. Southern Territory.
Yeah, definitely Southern Territory. I don't know what they were expecting out of him. I mean, I know they brought him in as a heel, and he was going to work against all these faces. I don't know if the goal was to make him the bigger face or just to be kind of a placeholder. So when you get ADR, I feel with the words are here because I feel like I haven't got what I was supposed to get from Alberto Del Rio.
All right, next comment comes from a YouTube user by the name of Big Boy. That's boy with an I. He had some pretty poignant things to say about the new WWE champion. And I quote, John Cena is the shit factor of professional wrestling. Cena is the most overrated, overprotected wrestler of all time. He's boring, he can't wrestle to save his life, and he has horrible mic skills. Wow. He buried maybe the best talent WWE has in Bray Wyatt, and he buries young talent. Don't believe me? Look at Dolph Ziggler, Damian Sandow, Ryback, and Del Rio's careers since they faced Super Cena.
Good God. I said it on PWR Live last week, and again, I hate when I sound like David Hero is actually talking through me. You've heard of him. John Cena on a poster is what sells pay-per-views. John Cena, you get the philosophy. John Cena on a commercial spot, face-to-face with Brock Lesnar. That's what's going to sell. And they're not even really called pay-per-views anymore. I mean, they're on the WWE.
Depends on the month.
They're a special event. So, regardless
Getting
if you're
choked up there?
Yeah, I am. Regardless if you're entertained by John Cena, he is doing what the company business needs him to do. That is the guy that carries the flag. Regardless of the Make-A-Wish stuff and all that other stuff that John does on the side, he is the guy that does it for the company.
Here's the thing. That comment was asinine. Let's just go there, big boy. It's much like Triple H's reputation. People talk about John Cena, he buries everybody, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure he buried Daniel Bryan by getting pinned cleanly by him. Yeah, sure. He buries everybody. He's worth nothing. He shouldn't be champion. Seth Rollins should be the champion, and that should be headlining WrestleMania next year. Let's just go with that, because I'm sure that's what you want, big boy. Tomorrow night, Stone Cold Steve Austin and I will ask him the question directly of his thoughts on John Cena, and specifically people like Big Boy's comments about John Cena. Tomorrow night on primetime. I'm not even going to bother to answer any further, because we'll let Stone Cold Steve Austin give the answer and lay the smacketh down, if you will. You said I did there, pun intended, wrong person, but same thing.
Gotcha.
To the comments about John Cena. So, with that, thank you so much for your comments. We're going to throw it now to a brief timeout. I understand, I don't know what this is about. We have a special promo coming up next. I haven't even seen it yet, but after that, Linda is going to have this week's winner of a free t-shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com. So, hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in about 6 months again.
Hey, you know.
Or are you okay? You can be the permanent replacement for David Hero.
Who's David Hero?
His guy used to be on this show.
Got it. Maybe we'll
Has been washed up over the ale.
Hashtag David Hero.
Hashtag gone. We'll be back after this with this week's winner.
Okay, Damian Nelson, if you want to suspend me from Fish Fry Friday, that is absolutely fine with me. But on Monday at PWRshow.com, I have something huge and big and amazing planned just for you.
Congratulations to this week's winner of a free wrestling tee from ProWrestlingTees.com. YouTube subscriber, the words are here. Thanks for your comments, and we look forward to giving away another t-shirt next week. But before that, we have Primetime TV tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central with Stone Cold Steve Austin and other special guests.